Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy White Album here, and welcome back to some more Witch on the Holy Night. Let's just hop right into it. You already know me, I already got my water next to me. Oh, did I not? Oh, it says I was playing the archive shit. Okay, let's go back to the whatever I was doing. It was whiteboard, so let's see if I could go back and quick load. Oh. Alright, there we go. Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me grab a quick sip of water. I wish it was cold, but there's no ice in my house at the moment, so that sucks. Here we go. Alright, it's settled in.
って何よあんた、妙な顔して。自分から言っておいて尻尾巻くの？
Now what's with that look on your face? You're the one who brought it up.
いや、そうではなく。
No, it's just that, Sojiro diverted his eyes at Aoko's direct stare. Sojiro and Aoko currently only spent time together after dinner. Every once in a while, however, he would catch a glimpse of some innocent gesture of hers and wouldn't know how to respond.
いいんだ、続けてくれ。興味はある。
It's nothing. Keep going. I'm interested.
よし。じゃあ、コマ撮り呼ばないとね。
Great. Let's get started then. For this, I'll need to call in my Robin.
それでは、特別授業。なぜなにプロイキッシャー。始まり。
Today in this special class, you're gonna learn all about poi kickshaws. Aoko snapped her fingers. Apparently, she was trying to mimic turning on the switch to a TV. It was a vertible TV special. I think that's a vertable. Vertable. That's how a lecture about a certain brand of magecraft performed and directed by Alice Kuonji first aired. That was weird to read. I'm sorry. I read that. I was like, what? Unfortunately, the special production was canceled only 30 minutes after it began. Apparently, the content had been a little too esoteric for Sojiro.
分かってはいたけど。
I knew this would happen.
しずきくんの覚えの悪さは3000世界に響き渡るわね。
Suzuki probably has the worst memory in the universe. She almost said he was better off dead, but took a deep breath to avoid being hurtful.
かわいそうなアリス。さすがに今回は同情するわ。
I'm sorry, Alice. I feel for you on this one.
そいつにとっちゃ、私の魔術もアリスの魔術も、すごく便利でくくられちゃうものだなんて。他の魔術師が聞いたら失神者の屈辱よ。
I have no idea how you can reduce our magecraft down to amazingly convenient. If any other mage heard that, they faint from the pure insult of it. I mean, technically it is kind of convenient. It's like, oh, you could just make this pocket dimension from this and that. I mean, it really is in a sort of a way kind of convenient, you know? Aoka was exacerbated. She also felt some measure of regret. She should have realized this would have been the outcome.
そんなことはない。ちゃんと区別はつく。
Now, that's not true at all. I can tell the difference between your magecraft.
青崎は壊すだけで、アリスはいろんなものを作って、それで壊すんだろ？アリスの方がやや生産的だ。
Aozaki just breaks stuff. Alice makes things to break stuff with. Therefore, Alice is a little more productive.
怖いわ、青子。私、どうしてか胸が苦しい。こういうことって本当
The
にあ
dull
るの
look in
ね。
her eyes that she just got. This is scary, Aoko. It hurts. There's a pain in my chest and I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, it's called a heart attack.
まるで、お気に入りのカップを割ってしまったとき、通りかかったキリンに、でもトロルよりマシですよ。と慰められた気分だわ。
This feels like when someone breaks your favorite teacup and tries to cheer you up by saying that at least there wasn't a troll in the kitchen.
どういう意味よそれ。
What's that supposed to mean? Aoko glared at Alice sitting across from her. Alice had alluded to a fairy tale about a less than intelligent giant who lived under a bridge.
今の宗十郎の指摘、結構合ってると思うけど。
Huh. I think Sojo's observation was pretty accurate though, to be honest.
私、アリスのプロイが生活の役に立つとこ見たことないし。コマ撮りも双子も、最後はドジって終わりじゃない。
I've never seen your ploys do anything to help around here. The Robin and the twins both only mess things up. The twins? Have we met the twins? The twins from Atomic Heart? Yo. Look, man, I ain't down bad, but
それは結果論よ。役立とうという諸子は尊重するべきだわ。だいたい、あれやそれが最後に全部台無しにするのは私の責任じゃないのだし。
you're only looking at the final outcomes. They are at least trying to help. It's not my responsibility that they only end up ruining things. Both girls were now just intent on calling each other out. It seemed neither wanted to admit their own shortcomings when it came to magecraft, even when it came down to a silly argument about who was the worst at breaking things.
いや、でもアリスの使い魔は役に立ってるぞ。
But wait, Alice's familiar does help out sometimes.
前に森で落ち葉を集めている豚を見かけた。あれはアリスの使い魔なのに、なんで青崎に言ってやらないんだ？
I saw a pig in the woods picking up leaves before. If that's your familiar, then why won't you tell Ozaki?
まあ、いいことをしたのに黙っているのは美徳だって山城先生は言ってたけど。
Though I guess Mr. Yamashiro did try to teach us that it is good to be humble and not to brag. Alice had simply sent the chatty twins out in the forest to break them in, as it were. To Sojiro, this had seemed like a good deed. Aoko was visibly getting more fed up with this conversation since Sojiro had decided Alice was the victor here.
はっ、掃除をしているから生産的とか、ずいぶん小さな判断ですこと。もっとこう、大きな視点で評価できないのかしらね。このお掃除マシーンは。
You think cleaning is productive? I guess you can't see the bigger picture.
大きな視点。
The bigger picture?
例えば、お金儲けとか？
Like making money or something? The two girls both tried to remain calm in face of such a direct question. Even a fool could think of a good idea sometimes.
呆れた。我ながらその発想はなかったわ。
You know, I never thought about that.
盲点すぎたっていうか、基本魔術って損失しか生まないものだから。
Magecraft has always been something that only brings loss. Alice nodded affirmatively.
それで例えば？
So, what are you thinking?
あなたから見て、私の魔術はどんな金策ができると思う？
How do you think my Magecraft can make us money?
青崎なら、そうだな。マグロを捕まえるのはどうだろう。
Let's see. For you, maybe you could use it to catch tuna or something. Silence. Aoko adjusted the position of her crossed legs.
なんでマグロ？
Why tuna, exactly? He asked this question, seriously.
いや、朝一で大変高価だと聞いた。
I just heard that they fetch a really high price in the morning fish market.
でも、捕まえるのは難しいって。あんな巨大なものが、水の中では車より速く泳ぐと。
They're hard to catch. But they're hard to catch. They're huge. But they can swim at high speeds.
そりゃ地球が誇る大型肉食魚だからね。お寿司屋さんでも最強だし。平均時速60キロ、マックススピードは時速180キロに迫ると聞くわ。
Well, they are one of Earth's greatest predator fish, and one of the most popular types of sushi. Sushi. I don't know why I said that sounded weird when I said that. I heard they travel at an average speed of 38 miles per hour and can reach up of a max speed of 112 miles per hour if need be.
部長曰く、青崎は泳ぎがうまいって。泳いで捕まえられないか？
Well, you're good at swimming, aren't you, Aozaki? Couldn't you swim and catch one?
もう魔術関係ないわね、それ。
What does that have to do with Magecraft?
仮にマダンで迎撃できたとしても保存できないわ。私、回転を早めるのが専門で止めるのはちょっと。アリスは？
Even if I could hit one with a magic bullet, it would be too damaging. I'm only good at speeding up things, not stopping things. What about you, Alice?
魚は苦手。
I rather hate fish. Alice quietly added that some of them were oddly interesting to her, so she wouldn't feel comfortable harming them. Alko shrugged her shoulders, throwing that idea to the side.
ところで、喧嘩売ってるしずきくん。
Anyway, are you trying to start a fight or something, Suzuki?
すまない。実はちょっとからかってみた。
Sorry, I may have been mocking you, just a little. The collar around his neck tightened for a good 5 seconds. It was as tight as a sleeper hold.
と、まあ、青崎には乱暴なことしか期待できないとして、アリスはどうなんだ？
So I guess we can only count on Aozaki to do violent things. How about you, Alice?
何も言わないということは、魔術でお金儲けは気に入らない？
You haven't said anything, so I guess you're opposed to using magecraft for profit.
そうね。好き嫌いはともかく、お金があるのはいいことだわ。教会の目をくぐり抜けることができるなら、青子には頑張ってほしい。
It's not really about liking it or not. Having money is always a good thing. If there's anything Aoko can do while also evading the watching eyes of the association, I'm all for it.
危ない目に遭うのは私だけか。
Wait, so I'm the only one sticking my neck out?
アリスのプロにはなんかないの？土食べたら金に変換するようなカバとか。
Isn't there something your boys can do, like, I don't know, a hippo that eats dirt and turns into gold or something?
ほら、中世の貴族はお抱えの錬金術師で日夜金を作り出す研究をしてたって言うじゃない？
You know, like alchemists who spend day and night researching how to make gold in the Middle Ages?
あれはただの金食い虫。
Alchemists were a waste of time and money.
まあ、騙した貴族たちの貯蓄を食いつぶして、新しい技術を生み出したから、無意味ではなかったけど。
Granted, in some cases, they used the wealth of the rich to discover new technologies, so it wasn't all bad.
このマイセンも、もともとは金を作ると豪語した錬金術師が、苦し紛れに生んだ時期なわけだし。
For example, this Mycen porcelain was the product of a desperate alchemist who boasted of the ability to create gold. Alice ran a finger along the edge of the teacup in her hand.
はあ、錬金術師ほど当てにならないやつはいないってわけか。今じゃプラハの錬金術師は証券魔術師。エジプトの方は兵器作ってるって話だしね。
I guess there's nobody more unreliable than an alchemist, then, huh? I hear that alchemists in Prague deal in securities, and the ones in Egypt make weapons now.
ええ、ちょっと期待してしまったけど、もともと私たちは現実社会と折り合いが悪いのよ。神秘に特化しすぎているから。
Right. I got my hopes up a little, but our kind should honestly never deal with the real world. We're too specialized in mystics.
ロンドンの名門になると、家訓と授業は別物と割り切っていて、金融専門の弟子を取っているわ。
I've heard that a noble mage family in London has abandoned their traditions and has only taken in disciples for finance now.
噂だけど、ある財閥の総帥は、社員全員の血を吸って、情報を共有するネットワークを作っているとか。
It's only a rumor, but apparently the leader of this big financial group drank the blood of all their employees to create a shared information network. That's
何で
disgusting.
も、吸血鬼になった理由が、精神的につながった、決して内部闘争しない紹介を作りたいから、だったとか。
Supposedly, he became a vampire so that his employees would all be mentally linked, creating the world's only financial group without internal conflict.
極まってるな。要は、そこまで徹底しないと魔術でお金儲けは難しいってことか。
That sounds extreme, but I guess that's the lengths you have to go if you want to make money for magecraft.
アリスのプロイで遊園地をやるのはどう？
Hey, what if your employees started their own amusement park? Sojiro clapped his hands together in excitement.
それはいい。襲われるのはもうコリゴリだけど、あの遊園地なら連日連夜大盛況だ。
That's a great idea. I've had enough of getting attacked, but in an amusement park, that would be a huge hit for sure.
私のプロイを見せ物にする気？
You mean you want my employees to be some kind of show or exhibit?
でも大受けよ、絶対。ロボットって言い張ればみんな騙されるし。
I bet it would actually be popular. You could just tell everyone they're robots, and they would definitely believe in you. Until there's that one person that's like, yeah, these don't look like robots. They don't sound or act like robots.
却下よ青子。この話もう一度したら絶好だから。
No way, Aoko. Bring this up again, and we're through.
本気で怒らせたか。だってさ、宗十郎、遊園地は諦めましょう。今度こそ友情を失っちゃうし。
Oof, you're actually mad. Alright, Sojiro. That's it for the amusement park idea. No point in losing a friendship over it. I'll go back down after Alice's cold rejection of the idea. The small talk continued, but the girls grew more distant as they tried to avoid further conflict. I fucked that one up. Sojiro looked at the two of them with a perplexed expression. Hold on. There's something I really have to ask now.
何？
What is it?
いや、青崎もアリスも遊園地で本気で殺し合っただろ
It's just, you guys were both trying to seriously kill each other at the amusement park, weren't you?
それなのに、まだ友達だったのか
How were you able to stay friends after that? It was certainly a rude question to ask, but it was also an obvious thing to ask. Aoko and Alice looked at each other as they thought of the answer. They stared at each other for about 2 seconds.
ギリギリあり？
It happens, I guess. Man, did she really just hit us with a, it is what it is?
まあギリギリ。
Yeah. These things happen.
ありなんだ
They do? Though their friendship was surprisingly lighthearted, it also seemed to be forged from bonds harder than steel. It is what it is. Right, Alice? Their long and extended tea party had just started to get going when Sojiro had to leave. He didn't really want to leave since he was enjoying himself, but he couldn't miss his part-time job.
2時間も話してたなんて珍しいわね。アリスもいつになく饒舌だったし。
It's rare for us to talk like this for 2 hours. You were unusually chatty today, Alice.
成り行きよ。しずきくんがあれこれ青子に質問して、あなたがそれを私にも向けてきただけ。
I had to be. Suzuki kept asking you questions, and you kept putting them off onto me.
ほんと、私たちが一日何をしているのかなんて聞いても仕方がないのに。
I don't even understand why he's so concerned with what we do all day anyway.
いや、それがそうでもない。大変役に立ちました。
I don't know. I think it was actually a helpful conversation.
はい？
Huh? Sojiro was carrying something down the hallway, ignoring Aoko's surprise. It was a large whiteboard, much like the one in the student council room. On the new shiny board was written, chores list, mansion cleaning, first east wing only, breakfast, dinner, cleaning the bath.
なんかいろいろと詮索してくると思ったら、そういう裏があったわけ？
I knew there had to be some reason you were asking so many questions.
うん。歪みを正したかったら、まずどこがおかしいのか知らないといけないからね。
Right. If you want to correct something, you need to first find out what's broken, right?
今夜の話じゃ、二人とも一日に1時間ぐらいは使える時間があるみたいだし、3人で一つの台所を使ってるんだから、ローテンションを組んだ方がいいだろう。協力できるところは協力しないと。
Well, based on tonight's conversation, you both have at least 1 hour of free time a day. Since all three of us share the kitchen, I think it's best if we assign a rotation. You both need to help out where you can. Sojiro was clearly proud of his attempt at making things better around here. Ooh, I don't think this is gonna end well for you, my friend.
待って。私はあなたを住まわせているだけで、協力なんてする気はないって言ったでしょ。
Yeah, but you have to keep the house clean, right, Alice? Wait a second. Didn't I make it clear that I'm just letting you live here and don't have any intention to help with things like this?
うん、言ったね。でも、 夕食を用意するなら私の分もお願いと言いたいのなら、相互扶助は当然の義務だと思うんだ。
Yes, you did. But if you ask me to make dinner for you while I'm cooking for myself, then it's only fair to you that you reciprocate.
あと3人で食費を集めれば、その分美味しいものが食べられるよ。
Plus, if all three of us pitch in, I think we can eat better food in general.
Co-
Sudro's words pierced Alice's heart. She knew she had asked him to make dinner for her on many occasions. It was carefully planned attack designed to make her repent for her sins, and she knew it.
でもホワイトボードを用意することはないんじゃない？当番なんて今まで口約束で決めてきたんだし。
Even so, do we really need an entire whiteboard? We always managed without writing any chores down before. Alice nodded her agreement. There was nothing less reliable in this world than a verbal promise. Even if they didn't say so, Sodro could tell by the look on their faces that they intended to skip out on whatever task they were assigned to.
ダメだ。正しい生活を送るには、正しい役割を把握しないと。こういう風に書いておけば、後になっても忘れないだろう。
No way. If you want things to be done right, then everyone needs to know their responsibilities. If we write it down like this, then nobody will have an excuse to forget. Alko recoiled at this new development. She couldn't tell if Sodro was just being nice, or if he was saying he wouldn't tolerate any slackers.
なんてこと。証明文を書かせて責任の所在を明らかにしようだなんて。
Oh, I love this face of hers, it's great. Can't believe you're making us sign off on these specific responsibilities like this. Alice was absolutely terrified at this prospect of daily chores.
決まりだな。誰がどこを担当するかは、また明日話し合おう。今の二人が大変なのは分かってるから、しばらくの間はこっちが多めに受け持つよ。
So that settles it. Tomorrow we'll figure out who to assign to which task. I know this is going to be difficult for you two, so I'll take on the majority of the tasks myself for the time being. And with that, Sojiro left. The two girls left behind could only sit and stare, stunned at the shiny new whiteboard.
こういうのを飼い犬に手を噛まれるというのかしら。割と小癪な性格をしていたのね、彼。
This is like a dog biting the hand that feeds it. I never knew he was so brazen.
知ってた。私、あいつがそういうやつって知ってたわ。
I knew. I knew it from the moment I met him. But it was too late now. They had already been caught in the trap. Just this morning, Alko had received a portion of the salad Sojo prepared. She knew it would be wrong for her to veto the idea of them all helping each other out. The concept of dividing up specific chores made perfect sense to Alko, after all. Even so, she wanted to be able to tip the ratio of her chores in her favor, at least sometimes.
青子、あなた、何を考えているか丸分かりよ。
Alko, I already know what you're thinking.
そうでしょうとも。間違いなく同じことを考えてたからね、私たち。
Oh, I'm sure you do. Because I'm pretty sure we're both thinking the same thing. Alko sighed as she grabbed the whiteboard. She was going to hang it up in the kitchen so they could all see it. Alice was staring at the whiteboard blankly.
せめて、新しい項目が増えなければいいけど。
I just hope he doesn't add any new chores to the list. She would come to regret ever saying those words. And so you thought. Ooh, there we go. Nice, we finished the whiteboard. Put it back. So we got another one here. The Wonderful Water Ploys 1 and 2. Okay, we'll hit that one later. Let's see. Chapter input. Oh, it actually tells you the chapters added. So, chapter 2, 1.5, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Should I read this now? Let me go back. What episode is this? Fuck it. Let's read it, shall we? This is extra, so I'll worry about that one later. So here we go. Chapter 8.5, The Carnegie Case. Let's read it. Read it. Read it. There we go. Had to click on it and then actually read it. God damn it. All right. No matter how busy one is, any person living within human means is certain to have at least some free time. Before and after eating, for example, it was difficult to eliminate the time required to prepare a meal and the time after one finishes eating. This is particularly the case for those who do a lot of thinking. Since the body needs to use energy to digest after eating, there's less available for the brain to use.
ナイキはあれでしょ？ 2K の文字りでしょ？アテナの持ってる盾じゃなくて小さな勝利の女神の方。陸上競技に勝つってイメージじゃない？
That brand was named after the goddess Nike, right? I guess it represents winning in sports, since she was the goddess of victory. Yeah, there actually is like a statue of hers, but it's like missing its head. So, if you don't know that, like if you look up like the statue of Nike, it's like, I think it was like destroyed by in some fucking raid or something like that. I don't remember.
さすがブランド品とか大好きな青子さん。どうでもいい知識だけはそれなりっすね。
Robin's back. You got a lot filling your head about these brands, Miss Aoko. Don't you know where to put what? Don't know where to put what? Don't know where you put it all. There you go. God damn, this fucking bird, man. Every time this bird's on fucking screen, I just have a hard time reading whatever the fuck it says. The studio's resident of the mansion was now taking refuge on the sofa, looking exhausted. Aoko was talking to the robin perched on the table. The blue bird flapped its wings, doing its best to join in on after the dinner conversation. Alice was reading in the sunroom. Discussion of how to deal with the encroaching enemy mage wouldn't start at least for another 30 minutes.
じゃあアディダスはもしかしてアディオスの文字りっすか？
So you think that another one is some play on adios?
あれは普通に名前じゃなかったっけ？
It's just a name, isn't it?
ほら、グリム童話みたいに作った兄弟の名前がそのままブランド名になっちゃったのよ。
It's like the Grimm fairy tales, where they just use the name of the brothers who came up with it for the brand name.
ブラザー・グリムは童話を作ったわけじゃ
That's
ない
what I
わ。
was gonna say. The brothers Grimm didn't make up those fairy tales.
埋もれていた口伝を収集して物語に仕立て直して丁寧に編纂した人たちよ。職人というより学者の類ね。
They're a collection of folk tales passed down by oral tradition. The brothers rewrote and carefully compiled them into proper stories. They're more like scholars than craftsmen in that case.
まあ多少は詐欺しめいたところもあるけれど。
And in some sense, kind of like conmen. Have you actually read
へー
Brothers Grimm?
じゃあアンデルセンは？人魚姫とか親指姫とか超メジャーだけど。あと醜いアヒルの子。
Huh. Well, what about Anderson? The Little Mermaid and Thumbelina are super famous. Oh, and the Ugly Duckling. Ugly Duckling. There you go. But as I was saying, no, Brothers Grimm shits are those. Like, true to the name, they're grim as fuck. Like, goddamn.
自分裸の王様とかたまんないっす。シンパシー感じるっすよ。あのクリスタルキングに。
I personally like the Emperor's New Clothes. Me and him got a lot in common. Me personally, I prefer the Emperor's New Groove, but that's just me.
アンデルセンは学者というより作家でしょうね。彼の創作意欲は裕福層や大衆、平凡な幸福を得ている人々、果ては女性像への憤りから生まれたものだと言われているし、知的好奇心から筆を取ったのではなく、感情を訴えるために筆を取った人。
Anderson was more of a writer than a scholar. His creativity is said to have been inspired by everything from the elite and wealthy, to the common people and what makes them happy, to a resentment of the female image. He didn't write from intellectual curiosity, but rather from his own emotions.
あまりこういう説明はしたくないのだけれど。
I hate to explain it this way, but
それぞれ分けて説明するなら、マザー・グースは歌、ブラザー・グリムは物語、アンデルセンは偶話ね。
If Mother Goose is a song, then Brothers Grimm tells a story. Anderson is more like a fable or an allegory.
ミツバチマッチはアニメっすね。
Some of their stories are not cartoons.
ところで青子さん、アシックスの由来は何すか？
Anyway, Alco, you know the Dicky bird behind the Japanese sportswear name? Okay, first of all, does that mean that Disney is fucking canon in Type Moon? That's great. That's awesome. That means that Star Wars is fucking canon in this fucking. Let's see, if this is the 80s, then yeah, then I think Star Wars should be around, right?
これは私も小学校の頃友達に聞いたものなんで真偽はわからないんだけど。
I heard this once come from a friend of mine in elementary school, so I don't know if it's true or not.
アシックスってもともと3つの会社が合併してできた会社なのよ。で、3社の社長が集まると足が6本になるじゃない？だから足、シックス。あくまで俗説だけどね。
They were formed from a merger of 3 separate companies, so the name comes from the Japanese word for foot, ashi, and the number 6, since the 3 CEOs would have 6 feet when together. So it's probably just a myth. Alice dropped her book on the floor of the sunroom and was biting her lip. She was clearly trying to feign calm and to breathe as if nothing had happened. She thought she was doing a convincing job of it.
あの子の笑いのツボもわかんないわね。
I really don't understand her sense of humor or why she thinks that was so funny.
それはどうすかね？あんまりにもつまんなかったから怒ってるのかもしれないっす。だってアリスさん、怒り浸透しても笑顔になるんすよ。自分たまに見るっす。アリスさんの日記を盗み見てると後ろでそういう顔してるっす。それ以上見ると死ぬわよって。でも勘弁してほしいっす。見ちゃうものは見ちゃうっすよ。自分から素行調査を取ったらもう基礎本能しか残らない気もするっす。
Maybe it wasn't funny at all, and she was all marbles and conquers about how unfunny it was. I mean, Alice usually smiles whenever she's angry. I've seen it. Whenever I half-inch her diary to have a look at it, there's always that's always the look she's given. She's like, "Look at that again, and I'll kill you." But I can't help it. I want to read it. If you take my curiosity away from me, I got nothing left. The Robin felt compelled to give a counter-argument for some reason. Alka let out a sigh. Even Alice sympathized with her over the difficult familiar.
ただいま。お、今日は2人ともいるんだな。
I'm home. Oh, you're both here today. It was at this time that Sojo returned. He must have just gotten home from his part-time job.
おかえり、お疲れ様。
Welcome back. Alka's warm welcome was quite the opposite from the faint response from the sunroom.
夕食は済ませてきたからいらないよ。
I already ate dinner, so I don't need anything to eat tonight.
じゃあ、夜のバイトに備えてちょっと寝てくれ。
I'm going to take a nap before my night job. Sojo still gave Alice a wave as he left. The doll thought of something dropping was heard as he entered the hallway.
おーい、なんか落ちたわよ。
Hey, you dropped something. Aoko peeked out from the sofa to yell for Sojiro.
ああ、ポケットに入れっぱなしだった。
Ah, it's been in my pocket the whole time. Sojiro calmly naturally walked back to pick out what looked like to be some kind of envelope. Perhaps it was instinct, but the human eye was drawn to motion, even if it was something one had no personal interest in. Aoko keenly followed Sojiro's hand with her eyes. Oh, my boy got that fat stack. Aha! A wad of cash. She had to restrain herself from shouting her thoughts out loud as she leaped up from the sofa.
どうした青崎。
Huh? What's wrong, Ozaki?
どうしたって、
That's Alko found it difficult to come up with a proper response to the pure, innocent eye staring back at her. She was ashamed at how she jumped at the enticing sight of so much money.
なんでもない。
It's nothing.
そうよね。普通にアルバイトの給料日よね。にしても、結構もらってんのね、あんた。
I just forgot that today was payday. You're earning a lot more than I thought. Oh, my man just simply vanished. There was an awkward pause before Sojiro smiled and returned back to his room.
ん
Hmm? Alko sat back down on the sofa, still feeling a bit awkward. That was all. This was what all set it off. It began a series of events that the Robin would later name the Dosh Affair. The Dosh Affair? The fuck? That's funny. Alright, nighttime. Nighttime it is. It was the next day, and around the same time as the previous day's incident. Alko was coming to pour some tea and relax when she heard Sojiro and the Robin engage in some sort of debate in the drawing room.
その人が言うには、人と会うたびに小さな親切を尽くしてあげるべきだ、と。そうして一日が終わったら、その親切が何をもたらしたか、よく噛み締めなさいって。
What they mean is that you should try to be kind in some way every time you meet someone. Then, when the day ends, you need to take that time to reflect on what that kindness has brought you.
たった一回の言葉だけの親切でも、相手にとっては大きな意味があるんだそうだ。それが思いもよらない幸福を運んでくる。
Even if it's just a kind word, it means a lot to someone and could bring great and unexpected happiness in your life.
うは、だから自分にビーフジャーキーくれたっすか？
Ah, so that's why you gave me some beef jerky.
でもそれ親切じゃなくて袖の下っていう伝統芸能じゃないっすかね。アンダーハート見え見えっす。
Are you sure that's just a bribe? I could see right through you, lad. Sojiro Seer's demeanor was more like a consolation or a proposal than it was idle chatter.
まあ、あいつが妙なのはいつものことか。
Well, I guess he's just being a weirdo like normal. Alko decided to ignore what was going on in the drawing room and head straight for the sunroom. There, she saw Sojiro's coat on the chair.
ちょっと宗十郎、コート置きっぱなしじゃない。
Sojiro, you left your coat here.
今のコート掛けか、自分の部屋に持って行って。
Take this to the coat rack in the drawing room, or back to your... She stopped herself mid-sentence. She could see the same kind of envelope that Sojiro had dropped on the ground yesterday inside his coat pocket. And it was even thicker than the one she saw the day before.
ふーん。
She wouldn't allow herself to make a spectacle about it like she did yesterday. She reminded herself that she was a model student or a student. Let me restart that. She reminded herself that she was a model student and a student council president.
さーて、紅茶っと。
Anyway, time for some tea. Feigning disinterest, she listened in on the conversation going on in the drawing room. Sojiro was still in deep conversation with the Robin. Perhaps he hadn't heard her calls.
都会の孤独は万人に平等だ。
Everyone feels lonely in this city.
一見して身勝手な、暴力じみた押し着せの善意も、長い目で見ればその人のためになる。
Acts of kindness, even if they look like they're done for selfish reasons at first, can do real good in the long run.
なるほど。親切の押し付けには一銭もかからないっすからね。ちゃんちゃん人助けするっすよ。
I see. It don't cost a thing to be kind to people. I'm trying to help people as much as I can now.
ただより高いものはないって言うけどね。
True. Though they say nothing in life is truly free.
どっちっすかこのシャバゾン。
Oh, so which one is it then? Oh, wise one. Alko was so intent on eavesdropping she completely forgotten that she had come to pour a cup of tea. There was no way she could ignore such a suspicious. Hey, God damn it! I know how to read, guys. Such a suspicious conversation. There you go.
こうも言うんだ。
I
幸
don't,
福
I
に
don't
な
have
り
a
たけれ
stutter,
ば
but fuck, it seems
初
like
め
I have
は恨まれ
sometimes.
てもいいと。
Well, let me put it this way: if you want to be happy, you must be you must first be hated. Damn. All right, this is not helping my case
や
here.
れ金を返せだの詐欺師だの言われても、いずれその人のためになると分かっていれば、心を鬼にできる。
People shouldn't care if they're called a scam at first. They just need to realize that what they're doing is for the good of others.
人に尽くしている喜びが、後ろめたさとか帳消しにするらしい。
The joy you give to others will cancel out the same sense of guilt you might feel.
それ知ってるっす。でも微妙に違うような。
I've heard something like that, but what you're saying is different. Alko agreed with the Robin in this case. Sudra was referring to the words of a famous entrepreneur. If we want to find happiness, let's stop thinking about the gratitude or ingratitude and give for the inner joy of giving. That was the actual quote.
あるいはこうとも。
In other words,
貯金のある人は、その富を温存するよりも、会社がより豊かになるために使うべきだと。
people should not save up their wealth. Instead, they are bound to administer it to help their company prosper.
それも知ってるっす。でももう完全に違うような。
I know that one too, but you got it all dodgy this time. Alko was becoming upset with how much she was agreeing with the Robin at this point. This was a quote from an even more famous entrepreneur. Surplus wealth is a sacred trust which its possessor is bound to administer his lifetime for the good of the community. This was how that one was supposed to go.
信じられるのは、お金だけなのかもしれない。
The only thing you can trust in life is money.
だって奥さんも子供も、ずっと一緒にいてくれるわけじゃない。不幸な事故で先立たれることだってある。
Even if you're married with children, it's not like they're always going to be by your side. They could die in an unfortunate accident and leave you behind. Well, that's a little dark there, Sojiro.
でもお金は別だった。お金で幸福は買えないけど、幸福はお金になる。今は人の親切と、温かい布団があればそれでいいと、その人は言った。
Money is different. You can't buy happiness, but happiness can bring you wealth. They said that as long as you have the kindness of others and a warm bed to sleep in, you don't need anything else.
なんか無性にらしくないこと言ってるわね、あいつ。
Whatever he's talking about, it's not like him at all. Though his words were a bit strange and worrisome, Aoko couldn't spend much time worrying about it. She didn't have the capacity to worry about anyone else right now. Her battle was with the enemy mage, was always lurking just beneath the surface.
どっちにしろ私には関係ないか。
But that isn't any of my business anyways. Aoko shrugged it off and turned her attention away from the drawing room. She told herself that she would forget about all of this commotion by tomorrow anyway. Ooh, the nighttime.
ただいま。
I'm home. Cedric was back from his job with a smile on his face again today. Work truly was its own reward. His mood was infectious, and Aoko smiled back while relaxing on the sofa.
はい、お疲れ様。
Hey, welcome home.
休んでていいわよ。今日は昼からずっとバイトだったんでしょ？
Take a load off. You've been working since noon today, haven't you?
夕飯ならこれから作って。何？
I'm gonna start making dinner or start making something for dinner. What the? Her smile suddenly turned frigid.
ん？どうした青崎。木の実の冗談を聞いた時みたいな顔して。
Huh? What's wrong, Ozaki? You look like you just heard of one of Kinomi's jokes.
どうしたじゃない。いい加減黙っていられなくなった。いいからそのポケットのもん出しなさい。
Hey, don't play dumb with me. I can't keep quiet about this any longer. Empty your pockets right now.
ん？
Huh? Okay. Sojiro reached in and pulled out the contents of his pockets without knowing why he was being scolded. He placed the now all too familiar brown envelope on the table. It was far too thick to be any normal envelope. It was bright, enticing, almost magical. There was nothing else it could have been than a stack of cash.
まあ、これはどうしたの、しずきくん。
Well, what do we have here? Alex innocently asked Sojiro. She was a bit dazzled at the sight, but there was no mistaking it for an illusion.
バイト代だよ。
It's my pay for my part-time job.
そう。それはいいことだわ。明日はごちそうね。
Well, that's nice. Looks like dinner is on you tomorrow then. The two remained calm despite the abnormally large wad of cash before them. That being said, the one with the most common sense in the house finally had to speak up.
んなわけないでしょ。ちょっと宗十郎、そこに正座。どういうことか説明なさい。
You're lying. I know it. Sojiro, you kneel right here and explain to me what is going on. She knew more than anyone how serious this was.
ん？説明って何をだ？
Huh? Explain what?
決まってるでしょ。この札束の正体よ。
Explain where you got this money. From his fucking jobs there, Mr. Krabs. Goddamn, calm yourself.
あんた今何やってんの？どう考えても真っ当な職種とは思えないんですけど。
What the hell are you doing to earn this kind of cash? There's no way it's anything legal.
まっとうだぞ。
It really is fine.
この新しいバイトは少なくとも法には触れていないと聞いた。ちゃんとやれば危ない目にも合わない。
The job I got is at least not illegal. And if I do it properly, it's not dangerous at all. Hold on, don't tell me this man's actually fucking fishing tuna.
コンビニエンスストアより割がいいし、俺でも簡単にできるという。
Because from the last chapter, we just talked about how tuna, like in reality, though, tuna really does go for a high markup price in fish markets. Not just like in Japan, but here in the U.S. as well. But mainly in the U.S., mainly in Japan. It pays better than the convenience store. And it's easy enough that even I can handle it without problem. Unbelievable. Aoko was just about dizzy with rage by this point. At least, not illegal. That's like when an obviously drunk person tries to contend that they are indeed quite the contrary.
正気に戻れ。日ごとお金が倍々に増えていくバイトなんてあるわけないでしょ。
Use your brain. What kind of part-time job pays out more and more money exponentially every day?
いいから仕事の内容を言いなさい。内容を。あんたどう考えても騙されてるから。
Tell us exactly what you're doing. You're being scammed. You had to be. No, he's actually a male prostitute. Alright, don't take that one out of context, please. Sojiro kept his mouth shut. He didn't seem to be too threatened by Aoko's reprimands.
ダメだ。いくら青崎でも教えられない。あんまり人に話すことでもない。
Sorry, I can't. Not even to you. It's not really something I'm supposed to talk about.
でも安心してくれ。分類的にはちょっとした人助けと言えるだろう。あと、紹介してくれた人とは一度しか会ってないし、支払いは常に現金だ。
But please, don't worry. It's honestly something that helps people. I've only met the person who recommended me for the job once, and I'm always paid in cash.
この田舎バカ。その文脈からして怪しすぎるんだっていうの。
You fucking bumpkin. All of this sounds suspicious as hell. Aoko stamped her foot in frustration. Well, who could blame her? After hearing the standard lights for a scam, it's a new job. The pay is good and anyone can do it. And I'm not supposed to talk about it. Despite all that, Sojiro was still refusing to spill the beans. They hadn't known each other for that long, but Aoko was well aware of Sojiro's personality. Steadfast, explained him well. Once he made a decision, nothing could make him change his mind about it. At times like this, it was near impossible to get him to talk.
厄介な。
Ugh, you really are making this difficult. Aoko backed off, realizing it would be a challenge to get him to say anything at this point. Sojiro couldn't figure out what was upsetting her.
なんで青崎は怒ってるんだ？
Jeez, why are you so mad? Alko decides to give up on getting anything useful out of him.
そんなうまい話はないからよ。アリスもそう思うでしょ？
There's just no job in the world like that. It's too good to be true. You agree, right, Alice?
そうね。青子の言いたいことはわからないけど、しずきくんはもっとやるべきだと思う。
I suppose. I'm not sure what Aoko is trying to say, but I think you can do more, Suzuki. And so, Alice has contributed absolutely nothing useful.
はあ、
Aoko collapsed on the sofa.
青崎、
Aozaki.
いいわよもう。よくわかんない理由で話す気ないんでしょ、宗十郎は。
It's fine. I know you don't want to talk about it.
考えてみれば、あんたなんてただの同居人なわけだし、私があれこれ文句言う筋合いはなかったわ。
And when it comes down to it, you're just a roommate. There's no point in me trying to tell you what to do with your life. Aoko shooed Sojiro away with her hand. Unfortunately, she wasn't going to be able to sit there and stew like she wanted to. She couldn't ignore this problem like Alice.
あいつはどう見ても騙されてるし、最終的にとばっちり食らうのは私だし。
He clearly is being scammed. In the end, it's going to affect me too if I don't do something about it. Wait, what if he's working for Toby Morrow? Isn't Toby Morrow's family pretty wealthy? I feel like that would make sense, right? She needed to be bold and make him quit his new job of his immediately. It was what a true friend would do. And it was also her duty as student council president. I don't think being a council president really helps in this moment. Let's be honest here. However, Alka started to think otherwise. Morals and a clear conscience were important, sure, but for a student living solely off their parents' generosity, that kind of money was hard to pass up.
そうね。最終的に辞めさせるのは絶対にしても、これまで稼いだお金を捨てるのはもったいないし。
Right. So, even if I do get him to quit the job, it would be a total waste for him just to give all that money up.
仕方ない。ここは絡め手でいくか。
I guess I'll have to approach this from a different angle. The wicked, scheming student council president sank deeper into the sofa. Her ability to play things by ear and her what? How do you say that? Her miserly nature were both her strongest and weakest points. The next day, noon. Aoko waited until her roommates were gone, then picked up the phone in the foyer.
もしもし、飛び丸？宗十郎がこんなことになってるんだけど、あんた心当たりない？
Hey, Toby Morrow. Sujiro's gotten himself into something recently. Does anything ring a bell? Yeah, he's working for me. The sound of the first train leaving the station could be heard far off in the distance. This was the time of morning when the town was deciding if it felt like waking up or not. Tobimaro Tsukiji was having to walk down the city streets at sunrise, enjoying the fresh, crisp morning air.
ほんと、街ってのは人間がいないだけで綺麗なもんだ。
Man, this town really is beautiful when it isn't swarming with people. The crowds had become a more common complaint of Tobimaru's. To him, the tacky, over-decorated street corners were the embodiments of human desire. At this time of day, the streets were nothing like the circus tent of the activity they usually were. The main street was completely empty. It was like a lonely, tranquil morning after a festival. Weary men in black were busy cleaning up and restoring order in the bars after the previous night's revelry. Around the back entrance of the local restaurants, the kitchen crew were busy bringing in their daily ingredients while stifling back tired yawns. Birds carelessly wandered the streets. There wasn't even the sound of a single car engine to be heard. This was a uniquely refreshing sensation that could only be felt from a city morning. It existed somewhere between daily life and exciting entertainment. This was the only time of day when the bustling modern world stepped aside for a slower, more nostalgic pace.
そうか。
Okay. Toby Morrow searched through his coat pockets but only found some old receipts. He rearranged the scarf around his neck to keep the cold wind at bay. Meandering through the city streets, he ended up at Central Park just as the morning magic began to fade. His stroll had no particular purpose. It wasn't for his health or anything like that. He was merely making his way home after a night out in town.
バカらしい。何やってんだか。
Man, what the hell am I even doing? Toby Morrow had a moment of unabashed self-reflection as he drank a can of vending machine coffee. He didn't particularly hate partying all night long, but it was pretty boring since he still wasn't old enough to drink alcohol. He'd been at it for a few days now, thinking it was at least better than being at home, but he was quickly growing bored of it.
ま、年末に親戚筋が集まるのは仕方がねえし。
I suppose it's only natural for relatives to get together at New Year's, though. He grinned wryly, at his own lame excuse. It was true that he was out wasting time like this because he didn't really have a place to go home at the moment. The Tsukiji family always had a congregation of relatives over on New Year's Day, and as per his grandfather's orders. This was why his siblings and other relatives had been staying over at the Tsukiji home for a few days now. If Tobimura was there, he just provided fuel for the fire. He decided to avoid the family drama and not go home while everyone was there. They would just greet him with insults anyways. And if someone tried to start a fight, he knew he wouldn't be able to resist the bait. It would only cause more resentment and trouble for his father. So, for Tobimaru, there was nothing more pointless or less enticing than getting involved with his siblings' squabbles over the inheritance. Oh, so it's like, I don't care for my inheritance, dog. I don't want it. It's like, you can have it. Yeah. A fifthborn? Yeah, he's the fifthborn? Okay. Like, well, he wouldn't. That should go to the firstborn, right? That would make sense. That's how, like, heirs and heiresses work, right? I wouldn't know. Tobimaru Tsukiji was the fifth-born son of the Tsukiji family, which owned multiple plots of land in Misaki City. However, most of that land had been acquired after the war. Before that, they had been a minor noble family on the brink of ruin. The man who built the Tsukiji family into its current glory was Kimikuni Tsukiji, Tobimaru's grandfather and the current patriarch. Kimikuni married into the struggling Tsukiji family and saved them after they had lost all their power during the war. The Tsukiji clan were local Shinto clergy and relied on Kimikuni's financial assets. Kimikuni, on the other hand, had leveraged clan connections to establish himself in Misaki City. So his grandfather had that dog in him. Okay. While both parties came together for mutual gain, the Tsukiji family failed to recognize just how ambitious Kimikuni was when they accepted him into their family. He wasn't the obedient son-in-law they had imagined. He had grand plans of his own, growing and developing industries within Misaki City and many other areas as well. Kimikuni controlled all these areas, not as a member of the Tsukiji family, but under his own name. A castle's greatest defense was its moats, not its wall, and Kimikuni bridged that moat. It was the economic equivalent of starving out the enemy. Kimikuni's financial might subdued the noble Tsukiji family completely. I think that was a mistranslation. That sounded weird to say. In less than 10 years, there was no one in the family who could stand up against him. This businessman, accepted into the family as a mere son-in-law, had seized the Tsukiji name and the entirety of the family fortune. However, Kimikuni had fathered many children. He would not allow the Tsukiji bloodline to die out. That was also the only way to maintain the family fortune. His 3 sons and 1 daughter all married relatives of the Tsukiji family, thus strengthening the familiar bonds that Kimikuni had weakened. Tobimaru was the 5th son of Hitoyoshi Tsukiji, Kinomi's eldest son. Damn, that is not fucking... Nah, bro, his grandfather had that fucking dog in him, bro. However, his mother was not a member of the family. Tobimaro was a result of a fling with a mistress, of course. The ignoble birth defined his place in the family. His father, he was his father's love child. Although the family's dignity was somehow maintained since he was the son of Hitoyoshi, it wasn't difficult to imagine the level of mistreatment Tobimaro faced from his siblings and other relatives. Being raised on such a hostile environment made Tobimaro grow up far faster than he should have. His ability to think quickly and objectively was honed naturally within this challenging environment. However, those exact traits had also brought Tobimaro a great deal of trouble. Kimikuni Tsukiji. Unfortunately, against all odds, this great leader of the Tsukiji family favored Tobimaro over everyone else, including his own eldest son. There it is. There it is. There it is. Kimikuni was like, you're my son, or you are my grandson, but not of within this family line. I like you, kid. I like you. Your mom came in out of nowhere, brother. And I fuck with that. So when I die, you could take on the family fortune. Since Kimikuni had been a commoner himself, he did not believe in blood inheritance alone. There you go. Yeah, let's go, Kimikuni. Step on that blood inheritance bullshit. Let's go. To make matters worse, not a single coin from his great fortune had been given to any of his sons yet. The most loathsome thing in this world is the blood of the Tsukiji family. I never would have had any of you if I could have helped it. Those words were spoken at every family gathering, and they were the absolute truth. Damn, this man said, I wish I never sired any of you, but Tobimaro, my boy, I understand you, kid. He had taken a liking to Tobimaro after speaking with him at these annual family gatherings, and enjoyed playing chess with him in his spare time ever since. Everyone in the family was worried Kimikuni would name Tobimaro his successor. In this way, Tobimaro had gone from being worthless to a threat in the eyes of Kimikuni's sons. The son who felt the most fear and hatred towards Tobimaro was Tobimaro's own father, Hitoyoshi, who would have been the unquestionable heir as the oldest son. And this was how Tobimaro became estranged with his father. They no longer even lived in the same house. Hitoyoshi always acted like they had a great father-son relationship in front of Kimikuni, but that would only last until his father was no longer around, or until Tobimaro was officially named heir. When that happened, it'd be an all-out war. In any case, it would not be a pleasant story.
じいさんも空気読めねえからな。
Need some water right after that. Whew, refreshing. Here we go. Man, Grandpa really had a hard time reading between the lines sometimes. Tobimaro scratched his head in frustration. He really wasn't all that worried, though. In public, it looked like they had a good father-son relationship. In private, they were in the midst of a bitter inheritance dispute. Things had always been that way, even before he met Kimikuni. The only difference was that his sole protector, his father, was now his mortal enemy. Tobimaro had always been at odds with his family. His father was just one more enemy to add to that pile. Staying out all night like this was Tobimaro's way of avoiding his family. If he was home, he would know they'd try to gauge his feelings. However, they wouldn't openly attack him. Ooh, excuse me. Even then, or even the relatives who looked down on him and his own siblings who had bullied him as a child, the worst they would do was make snide remarks. Tobimaro was, at his core, a peaceful person who preferred to avoid trouble whenever possible. Petty revenge or even stepping on Kimikuni's expectations weren't on his to-do list. His father's worries were unfounded. His relatives were getting riled up for no reason, and Tobimaro had no intention of stepping out of his role as the prodigal son. However, his siblings who were around the same age as him held a different kind of resentment. Perhaps they felt guilty for tormenting him all these years. Perhaps it was the result of the roles being reversed. He's going to get back at us one day. They lived in such fear of this that they didn't dare ignore Tobimaro.
そのくせ根回しはうまくねえときた。
I'm not good at dealing with this, with all this talking behind my back.
青崎ぐらいの大胆さで突っ込んでくるんなら、まだスリルがあるってもんだがな。
If they just confront me like Aozaki, it might be at least interesting. His family problems were simply a chore. They never really worried him much. He was used to human malice, although he had nearly died from the physical abuse of his siblings, even though someone had tried to kill him with true murderous intent. Even though he had been exposed to how the elite untouchable class of society treated others by his eldest brother. It was all such a pain in the ass. These were all the events that would change a person's outlook on life, but he has always remained cool-headed. That was just how things were for Tobimaro. He had grown bored of his relatives getting worked up over everything.
まあ、そのあたりは人それぞれか。
I guess everyone is different.
親父殿には同情するけどな。あのじいさんの息子なんて、波の根性じゃ務まらねえ。
But I do sympathize with my dad. You do have to be tough to be the son of that old man. Tobimaro honestly could not care less about who would be the next heir. He had no clear plans for the future yet. His only real goal was to wash his hands of his family and start fresh when he became an adult. Until then, everything that happened was a life experience. He continued his morning walk, thinking it was better to enjoy the nightlife now while he was still young.
Oh.
Huh? Ooh, but I think that's where we're going to end it today, ladies and gentlemen. Been running this one for quite a bit now. We're going to see who he sees or what he sees in the next episode. So I will see you guys next time. It is your boy White Album. I will see you guys next time.